morning, and welcome to the Memorial Union, the hub of student life. I'm Hillary Kletcher, a senior pursuing concurrent degrees in biological systems engineering and a master's in business administration. I have the honor of serving as the government of the student body president. This means I also have the pleasure of representing students, especially when working with our Iowa State University president. Dr. Stephen Leath became the 15th president of Iowa State University in January 2012. He leads our university that educates more than 34,700 students and employs 6,300 faculty and staff. Dr. Leath has launched a very dynamic agenda to raise Iowa State's profile as one of the top land-grant institutions in the country by enhancing efforts associated with the university's mission of education, research, and service. During his first 3 years, the university has enrolled record numbers of students, dramatically increased full-time faculty hiring, surpassed our private fundraising goals, and maintained the lowest tuition and fees of our peer group of 11 universities. Iowa State has been nationally recognized as one of the most efficiently run universities in the country, as well as having one of the most beautiful campuses. Many of these achievements have been recently featured in national publications, including the Washington Monthly, the Wall Street Journal, and Forbes magazine. Before coming to Iowa State, Dr. Leath pursued a career as a plant pathologist and advanced at North Carolina State, where he worked as a professor, assistant director, associate dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, before becoming the vice president of research for the University of North Carolina General Administration in 2007. He oversaw a $1.4 billion budget in competitive research grants and contracts and promoted research and sponsored programs across the full spectrum of academic disciplines. During his research career, Dr. Leath published nearly 100 scientific articles in plant disease resistance, plant pathology, plant breeding, and related fields. Dr. Leath has brought his skill set to lead Iowa State in strategic initiatives to maintain and improve the high-quality student educational experience that our university is known for, strengthen the university's scholarly reputation, broaden our research enterprise, expand our economic development programs and activities for the state of Iowa, and increase diversity among students, faculty, and staff. A member of the Council of Presidents of the Association of Public and Land Grant Universities, Dr. Leath is a board member of the Public Flagship Network, composed of AAU public university leaders who are addressing the future of public higher education, and he's on the board of the University Innovation Alliance, a group of 11 public research universities aimed at making college degrees more attainable for students with financial needs. Dr. Leath co-chairs the Cultivation Corridor Regional Economic Development Initiative, is a member of the Executive Committee of the Iowa STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics Advisory Council, is vice chair of the Iowa Coordinating Council for Post-Secondary Education, and is a member of the Iowa Business Council. I mention all of these organizations specifically because I believe they showcase President Leath's commitment to accessible and affordable education for Iowans. He is also a member of many other organizations, and I would like to note that last spring we were inducted into Cardinal Key Honor Society on the same day. I think his membership in these various organizations speaks to his commitment to Iowa State and the student body. As we continue to see increased enrollment numbers, I know President Leath is willing to partner with students to continue to provide an excellent student experience at Iowa State. He is always willing to schedule time with me to discuss student concerns and how we can move forward as a university during the dynamic time of enrollment growth. I look forward to continuing to work with him to reach our goals. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Iowa State University President, Dr. Stephen Leath.
Thank you, Hillary. Hillary's been great to work with, and the students are lucky to have her. And Janet and I like to take a tiny bit of credit because she was in our first President's Leadership class here, and she's gone on to do very, very well. So good morning to everyone. It's the start of another exciting academic year. Started on a little bit of a rainy morning. I'm sure glad we pushed this back to 8:30 for considering the weather. We're now home to more than 34,000 students. That's an exciting number. It's a little bit of a scary number, but I'm thrilled that that many people want to come to Iowa State. And they come here because of the faculty primarily, who strive to have very positive impact on each and every one of these students, and they do that. And they also contribute to the world-class research. And I also want to commend the staff. This place would not be the same without our dedicated staff, who also educate and mentor our students, but at the same time they advance our research, economic development efforts, outreach objectives, and really keep the university running smoothly in all of our endeavors. It's a great place to be, and it's a great place to be because of the people on this campus. Now, before I delve into the speech material per se, I want to stop for a second. I'm leaning on this new podium. It's the first time I've seen it. I've seen a picture of it. It's better in real life. This was actually made by Chris Martin, a faculty member in Integrated Studio Arts, from reclaimed wood, reclaimed walnut on campus. It really came out nice. So for Chris, his department, Luis, thank you. It really looks great. In addition to this accomplishment, I want to highlight just a couple of things just to give you some idea of the breadth and scope of the great things that happened at Iowa State and maybe happened over the summer and not everybody knew about. Iowa State's data mining team made history at the 15th Annual Data Mining Cup in Berlin this year. Not only the group of graduate students outperformed 98 other teams from around the world and won the competition above these teams from 28 other countries, but it's the first time in history a U.S. team has ever won this complex 6 weeks math competition, and it is great. Janet and I had the team to the house last night. It was really fun to get to meet them. It was a dynamic group representing many countries, and they worked well as a team, obviously, to win this. And it makes you really proud of Iowa State to see a group of students like that achieve at that level, especially when they told us some of the teams they competed against actually had semester-long classes on the competition and used the competition as class material, and this group did it all late at night and on their own. It was just tremendously commendable. Our ISU Prism team finished third in the American Solar Challenge, where also our solar car was named the best mechanical design in the competition, national competition. I want to say something about athletics right at the beginning. Our Cyclone Athletics finished 38th nationally in the Learfield Cup, our second highest finish ever. We finished in the top half of the Big 12 all sports rankings, the first time we've ever done that. I'll say some more about that later, but I'm really, really pleased with not only the level of competition in athletics, but the quality of our athletics program due to Jamie and his staff, many of them sitting right here in the front. So thank you for being here. So congratulations to everyone involved in these accomplishments and many more. But now I'd like to turn on to some specific things we've done this year as updates, especially the ones that influence our future, and then talk to some extent about the future, and then give you time to ask questions. When I became president, I think I laid out a bold vision for this institution, a vision to raise our university's national and international profile, attract top students and faculty, and really put Iowa State on the map. I wanted to prove that while Iowa may be called a Hawkeye state, we really are a cyclone nation here in Iowa, and I'm seeing that as I travel the state. Yeah. Ames now holds the title of best college town in the nation, and as everybody in this room knows, Iowa State University is a great university, but I want everyone to know that, not just the people affiliated with Iowa State. I'm happy to say more people around the country, around the world, are taking notice of our great accomplishments, and I want to see that trend continue. And clearly, students are taking notice of Iowa State. More students than ever before are interested in this university. More students than ever before are on this campus. And while this growth is exciting, it highlights the incredible responsibility we have to live up to our pledge to provide the very best college experience possible. I know we can do that and keep true to our land-grant heritage, but it will be a challenge, and some of what I want to talk about relates to that today. I also want to talk about how I want to help you folks and everybody on this campus take the university to the next level of success. And that's really the bulk of what I want to spend time on today. I want to talk about in detail how we strive for excellence and lay out a plan for achieving the next level of success. Then I will give everybody opportunity to ask me questions. I'm always interested to hear what your concerns, ideas, and questions are on any topic, and I think that may be one of the key points of this session today is to get input. I'll start by emphasizing that delivering for our students and achieving excellence inside and outside of the classroom requires a methodical and diligent approach. That's why each of the steps I'm about to outline can now be directly linked back to feedback we got from the Student Experience Enhancement Council as well as the President's Committee on Enhancing Institutional Excellence. These are both committees I initiated shortly after coming to Iowa State. They were driven initially by recently retired Tahira Hira, and we've got tremendous valuable input from this process from the faculty and staff of how we can move this university forward. So in anticipation of the growth we're now experiencing, we've been working aggressively to expand the capacity of the institution, and we're doing this in a number of ways. One, and perhaps most importantly, we're hiring more faculty. I announced the goal to hire 200 more faculty when I took the job. I'm happy to say we've exceeded that goal. 105 tenure or tenure-track faculty were hired last academic year, bringing the total of new hires to 245 in less than 3 years. We're taking into account of attrition as we think about what the right number should be. So we'll continue our hiring efforts. John Wickert tells me we expect to hire over 100 new tenure-track faculty again this year. And as far as I know, we'll be the only university in the country that's hired over 100 tenure-track faculty 2 years in a row. A tremendous accomplishment for Iowa State. This is what's going to really allow us to keep our quality programs, and it's going to allow us to keep our student-faculty ratios where they need to be, which right now is 19-to-1, which is really quite good. And nearly 70% of our classes have 29 or fewer students now, and we've also added 13 academic advisors. So we're adding the personnel to add capacity to deliver in both our academic and research missions and make sure that quality of the experience here at Iowa State stays there. But it's not just a matter of hiring more people. I want to be sure that we're hiring the right people and hiring the right people in strategic areas. That's why I launched the Presidential High Impact Hires Initiative, which identified approximately 30 positions last year and another 30 this year in such areas as big data and translational health. We've already filled nearly all of those positions, and we will continue to focus in hiring in those areas. This has been a tremendous boost, I think, to the colleges across campus. It's added to our profile nationally to recruit at this level, and it's been really, really successful. I want to commend the provosts and the deans and the chairs for what they've done with this initiative. I also want to applaud the commitment that our faculty and staff constantly demonstrate to provide our students with exceptional experience they come to expect. I can't say this often enough, and I do say it often when I'm off campus. Our faculty and staff do a tremendous job of connecting with the students. They offer them extra time during this class day. They offer them extra time on nights and weekends. They pay special attention. I see people in all walks of life on this campus focused on helping students, and that cannot be minimized, and we need to keep that culture here at Iowa State because it really makes us special. I also want to talk about some special new hires that I hope everybody knows about, but they merit a pause here. I want to mention Adam Schwartz first, who joined us in June as the new director of the Ames Lab, one of the critical positions on campus. He came to us from a Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, where he served as division leader of condensed matter and materials research. He also coordinated Lawrence Livermore's joint project between Lawrence Livermore and our Critical Materials Institute on campus. And I also want to give a big thank to Tom LaGrasso, who served as interim director after Alex King's decision to run our Critical Materials Hub at the Ames Lab. We also have a new director of admissions who recently joined us. Catherine Johnson-Susky is our new director of admissions. I think she'll continue our legacy of recruiting and engaging top students from across Iowa and across the globe, and I'll talk more about that later. I'd also like to thank Darren Wogelmuth, who was in the audience here today, who did a tremendous job as interim director of admissions for the last couple of years. Julie Nutter is our new Vice President of Human Resources. This is her first fall at Iowa State. She actually joined us in December and has been doing a great job. I want to thank Julie for joining the team. Sarah Nusser is not new, but she does have a new position that she started in February, being appointed Vice President of Research. And Sarah has hit the ground running fast, and I'll talk more about that also later. And then Mike Crum, a very familiar face to us right up here in the front. Mike's been with us for over 30 years, but he's in a very different role now as Vice President for Economic Development and Business Engagement. And Mike and I were at a real special event this week with our research park, and thanks for all you're doing, Mike. Let's give all of them a big hand. The second way we're expanding capacity, in addition to the hiring, is we're adding more facilities and we're improving our current facilities. We're very excited with the opening of Sukup and Ealing's Halls. They opened this semester. They are the anchors of our biorenewables complex, and this is the home of our world-renowned agricultural and biosystems engineering program. Together, the two buildings add 190,000 square feet of educational and research space. So these additions are making a huge impact. The Jeff and Deb Hansen Agricultural Learning Center actually opened for classes and events in January, but we held the official dedication just 2 weeks ago. This is one of the most versatile facilities on campus. It offers unmatched learning environment for ag students, especially animal science students, but it's also been heavily used by student groups and community organizations. And I'd like to highlight this because it says a lot about our donors and friends. It says a lot about our foundation, that this building was built with all private money, which is really, really tremendous. We're also looking forward to plans for the new $80 million biosciences facility. It's going to become a reality now with the 3-year, $50 million commitment from the state legislature. It'll add a lot of capacity in research and a tremendous capacity in teaching labs. With the approval of the Board of Regents this week, we're going to go ahead and ask the General Assembly and the Governor for support for a new Student Innovation Center, a very large building. It will not only bring additional educational and lab space online, but it will really promote our culture of student-driven innovation and experiential learning. So we're excited about pushing forward on that facility. We also gave new life to some of our iconic buildings on campus, including McKay, Lago Marcino, Horticulture, and Physics, and now Marston Hall is currently undergoing a major renovation. The state-of-the-art improvements will mean not only a more beautiful campus, they'll really improve our functionality for the staff, the students, and the faculty. We've taken a very strategic approach to repurposing space on Central Campus by relocating administrative functions to locations that will include the new Kingland office complex in Campus Town, the State Avenue office building, the Extension 4-H building, and ultimately the new Economic Development Core facility on the Research Park. This will free up approximately 60,000 square feet of space in Central Campus for faculty and students. I've also charged our Senior Vice President for Student Affairs to conduct a review of how space is used in this building and develop a proposal for repurposing much of the space to better accommodate student needs. So when you look at the possibility of transforming one of the floors where the engineering folks are right now, and with those other initiatives, we would free up approximately 100,000 square feet of Central Campus space for new uses, which is a big commitment to dealing with this increased growth. I'm sure you've noticed the construction on the south side of campus at the football stadium, at Jack Trice Stadium. We're very excited about the project to bowl in the south end of the end zone, increase our seating capacity, and make this the third largest seating capacity football stadium in the Big 12. But I think many of you know, it's important to me, it's important to Janet, that this is not just about football, as great as that is. This is about a brand new entrance to South Campus. The project includes a complete modernization of Ryman Gardens, a revamping inside the gardens and north of the gardens. The design will fully integrate the gardens with the stadium. And when it's finished, I think you're going to see a very impressive, beautiful, first-class entrance to campus and Ames on University Boulevard. So we're really, really excited about that. And again, that project was jump-started because of a very generous alum and donor, and we can't be prouder of that. Number 3, we're expanding our campus and university-managed housing. We are having over 12,350 students living with us this year, and they're in both on-campus facilities and university-managed apartments. This is an all-time high, as I'm sure many of you expect. The community field, the involvement opportunities, the convenience, and the friendly staff make students want to live in our facilities. In addition, our students know that they have higher grade point averages, they're more successful, the retention rates are higher when they live in our facilities. So to keep up with demand, we opened 6 more buildings at Frederickson Court this fall. We've more than doubled our off-campus apartment capacity to 1,100 beds, and now we're moving forward with plans to build a new 700-bed residence hall next to Buchanan on Lincoln Way. So this capacity will help tremendously. And we're also going to help by improving amenities. We're giving students faster online access through substantial improvements in our wireless network. Wireless access points are being installed in every residence hall room and Frederickson Court apartment to increase our speed and our capacity. And the campus network is undergoing a major overhaul, so this will be a great improvement for everyone. We've had more dining options on campus. In addition to the dining centers, restaurants, and cafes, we've added 5 food trucks that are open for lunch during the week. We're also planning to reopen the dining center that was once located in Friley. We already have approval for that, and that process is going forward, and we're going to expand the hub. And finally, I know this is a concern to the students, Sci-Ride capacity is also expanding. 5 new buses have been added to the fleet this fall. 3 more will hit the road in the spring semester, and we've added 4 more buses to the high demand routes. So we're sensitive to this growth, we're sensitive to this large population on campus. We are moving actively now, and we have more plans in the future to deal with this and increase our capacity. So bear with us. It's a great thing to have the interest and passion for Iowa State, and all of us here are trying to do everything we can to have the capacity meet the excitement and demand. I want to talk a little bit about special initiatives, because it's not just about increasing capacity and adding more amenities to maintain an excellent student experience. In order to really rise to the next level of success, to make this great university greater, we've got to concentrate on other aspects of our mission as well. We are clearly growing our research enterprise, which is something near and dear to my heart. I'm proud to announce that sponsored research funding rebounded well from last year's relatively off year. And this was really caused by challenges from federal sequestration. But total awards are up 13% this year, the second highest total on record. Our federal awards, which is the bulk of our money, were up 22%. It speaks to the extremely high quality of our faculty, their great ideas, and their work ethic. One of the major highlights I want to showcase today is that Iowa State secured a Tier 1 partnership for the $320 million Digital Manufacturing Design Innovation Institute, which is based in Chicago. Tremendous accomplishment, great for our reputation, great for our capacity. I also put forth the challenge through my Presidential Initiative for Interdisciplinary Research to find ways to grow Iowa State University's research enterprise by providing solutions to major problems facing our country and beyond. And I'm very pleased with the progress of that charge. The 7 research teams selected for funding presented updates in late spring. I attended and listened to all of those updates. They were remarkable. Their projects leveraged talents of people from multiple disciplines, which was our objective, to tackle global concerns like food security, disease prevention and treatment, crop production, and the breadth and scope of the work is really a great reflection of Iowa State University. So far, the investments we put into these research programs have resulted in a total of more than $133 million in grant applications, and I expect these projects will foster many, many collaborations both on and off campus in the future. Also related to research, Sarah Nuss and her team have a comprehensive plan in place already to continue our aggressive research growth by increasing our sponsored funding, investing in our faculty researchers, and enhancing internal and external awareness of the quality, breadth, and impact of our research. As part of this effort, I'm very happy to announce with Sarah and the Provost plans to create the new Grants Hub. This is something long needed and talked about since I came to Iowa State University. This centralized unit, which will be located on campus, will provide the tools, information, and support to assist faculty and staff across all colleges and disciplines. The Grants Hub will help identify sources of sponsored funding, prepare and submit grant proposals, offer project management for larger and more complex proposals, as well as pre- and post-award budgeting and compliance training. So we're very excited about this new resource and service center, and it will provide tremendous opportunity and capacity for our university when it opens in 2015. On a similar note, until January this year, our Office of Research was a combined unit with our Office of Economic Development. I decided that since each of these units is so critical to the university's mission that we needed to reorganize and strengthen these units. And you've heard some of that strengthening in the results and research. But we needed to devote the proper staff and expertise to each unit in order for them to excel. And we created the Office of Economic Development and Business Engagement that Mike Crum now heads. So on Wednesday, we held a groundbreaking for the new building at the ISU Research Park that's actually going to house all of the economic development service units and programs, including units like Tech Transfer, CIRRUS, Small Business Development Center, and others. This will make us better coordinated and make it easier for our clients to get the resources they need from Iowa State. The new Economic Development Core facility will be a one-stop shop for companies to gain access to the key components of economic development that we offer, including the most important, our workforce. Students who are looking for jobs and internships, as well as our capital, which includes world-class research facilities and incubation space, and our innovation and ingenuity. Related to that, we announced a partnership that same day with Vermeer Corporation. Many of you know Vermeer, a tremendous company from Iowa, really a model of Iowa innovation and work ethic. Vermeer is going to create the new Vermeer Applied Technology Hub at the park. It'll offer experiential learning opportunities for students from multiple disciplines on campus. It's all going to be part of this major expansion that's taking place at the research park. If you haven't been there lately, it's worth a drive. If you really want to see some excitement, go there in about a year and you'll really be blown away. And I say that because this is going to be a huge contributor to not only our states, but our national and global economies. We added over 200 acres to the park this year. Employee numbers have shot up in the last 4 years, over 80%, from fewer than 800 people in 2010 to 1,400 people today. And our goal is to add thousands jobs more in the next few years. These will be high-paying, high-quality jobs for our community. We expect several new buildings, a minimum of 3, possibly as many as 6 or 7 will be under construction next year, and we're looking at mixed-use space developments as well. So there'll be more amenities on this south part of town, on this research park campus area. There'll be places to eat, there'll be places to shop, there'll be places to dine. It'll be a win for everyone. It'll improve the quality of life and the work environment there, and it'll just move the park forward at even a faster rate. And as I said before, it returns space to Central Campus for our faculty and students for core activities that need to be on campus. On a larger economic development scale, you heard Hillary mention that I'm involved with the Cultivation Corridor. I'm co-chair of that initiative. You may have heard some about this in the news recently, but the idea behind the campaign is to make Central Iowa the premier region in the nation for ag biosciences. I really believe this is a key component of the future of our economy here in Iowa. It's how we'll find new sustainable ways to feed and fuel the world. And this too will create the kinds of good paying, stable jobs for our area that our state wants and needs. It's in great partnership with the governor who's trying to create jobs and keep jobs in Iowa. And the long-term benefits will improve the quality of life in this area. And I think Iowa State is perfectly positioned to drive this initiative, because biosciences are clearly among our core strengths. This is definitely not our only economic development strength for the university or for Iowa, but it's one that presents some really great opportunities. Many of you know that I'm an opportunist, and here's an opportunity right in front of us while the research park is growing in leaps and bounds, and we want to seize that opportunity. I'm also focused on another opportunity right now, and that is to make our campus as inclusive and welcoming as possible, regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, or many other categories, if we will. Iowa State has a long history of embracing diversity, from George Washington Carver, our first African-American graduate in 1894. But right now, Iowa State is as most diverse as it's ever been. More than 23% of our student body identifies themselves as multicultural or international. But I know we can still do more to support our students, our staff, and our faculty here on campus, regardless of their backgrounds. In the spring, I received 2 reviews. The most comprehensive diversity study we've ever had on this campus, really championed by one of our alums and pushed forward by my Chief of Staff, Miles Lackey, who many of you don't see and is often unheralded, but I tell you, the university could not run the way it does without Miles. So I never give you credit, Miles, but we should all give Miles a special thanks here. But Miles and Jolando Jackson delivered this diversity study to me, and I read it in its entirety. At the same time, I received a report on the status of women at Iowa State. Both reviews identified many strengths here at Iowa State and many positive things we're doing. But they also made many recommendations for improvement. They were detailed and comprehensive, and some of them relatively complex. So I made a decision to hire a chief diversity officer for this university, to review and implement some of the more substantive recommendations that will help improve the campus environment. I now have recommendations from all my senior reports, including the athletics director, of people that can serve on this search committee and help us move this university forward. I'm also very pleased that the number of faculty and staff who completed our relatively new online training in discrimination and harassment prevention, as well as our Title IX policies. Since the program rolled out just about a year ago, over 95% of our faculty and staff have completed the training. And that is really tremendous. Now, I want to make sure we get to 100. Don't get me wrong, we're not stopping at 95%. So if you haven't finished it, or you know someone that hasn't finished it, get them to find the link again, talk to their supervisor, and get more information. So let's get this number to 100%. We're also working hard here as a land grant to make sure that family background, socioeconomic status are no longer a predictor of success at Iowa State or success after you leave Iowa State. One of the ways we're tackling this challenge is by partnering with 10 other public universities to help close the achievement gap and increase graduations for students of all backgrounds. This new alliance is going to be formally unveiled next week in Washington, D.C., but I can tell you that one area that other institutions are coming to us for is to learn about our learning communities. Nearly 70% of our Iowa State students participate in learning communities, and those students are far more likely to graduate. This initiative is really remarkable. We have a number of universities that vary in size and scope. We're all working together, and we're all going to learn from each other. When I mentioned about our learning communities, we're going to learn best practices from our partner universities. We'll all be better off for this. And to give you an indication of this, we've not even officially announced the existence of the Alliance yet, and we've raised millions of dollars in grant monies to fund this program. So I think we'll be seen as a leader from the White House through the rest of the country, and really making a difference in changing a university in an innovative way to accomplish this goal, and I'm really, really proud of that. Moving forward, I want to make sure, too, we're making proper investments in the areas I've outlined, and while doing everything we can to keep costs down and maintain our status as one of the lowest tuition and fees of our peer group. Hillary mentioned this, something we really need to continue to do. But we need strong support, and we're going to need additional resources from other areas if we're going to accomplish all our goals. We've had great success with the legislature the last couple of years, and I'm really thankful for the tremendous support we received from them and the support we've seen from the Board of Regents and the governor. Governor Branson supported that 4% increase last year that we got. It allowed us to keep tuition frozen for the second year in a row. You don't see many universities, public universities in the country, doing what we're doing here at Iowa State. And I'm going to make sure everybody understands that. It also allowed us to give some modest raises. But we need more resources to go forward. And many of you have heard about the performance-based funding model that's been in the news lately. I want to commend publicly the service of former Regent David Miles for his leadership on the performance-based task force. Regent Miles is coming to my house later this afternoon, and we'll visit about a number of things. But the task force conducted a very thoughtful review of the way that the general state appropriation ought to be distributed amongst the 3 Regents institutions in Iowa. It recommended the Board of Regents change the funding model and adopt a new funding model which is more responsive to taxpayers. And what it does, it allocates a portion of your appropriation, a university's appropriation, to in-state enrollment. It also allocates monies based on degree progress, degree attainment, access, diversity, and statewide impact. I'm very pleased that the Board of Regents approved this recommendation, and we now look forward to working with the legislature and the governor to make it a reality. But this is not going to be easy. Not everybody in this state is fully on board with this initiative. I am. So I don't often do this to the university community, but I'm doing it right now. And that is what I'm doing is calling on you, if you believe in this redistribution of funding, to become proactive on this, to talk to your legislators, to talk to your neighbors, to talk to anyone you know, and say this is a fair, reasonable, thoughtful way to allocate funding here. We had a very thoughtful group go through this with the performance-based task force. Regent Miles is one of the most thoughtful people I've met since I've been to Iowa, a incredibly bright person who wanted to do the right thing, and he led a great effort on this. The regents followed suit. But we need you to support this initiative. And to put this in perspective, the allocation of new monies that would come to this campus would be the biggest allocation of unobligated cash to come to this university in decades. It's the equivalent of a $600 million new endowment. In other words, it's the equivalent of doubling our current endowment. I don't know that we'll ever see another opportunity like this for our campus. And I envision a group of faculty, staff, students sitting with me thinking, how can we fundamentally change this university with that much unobligated money as we go forward? So again, I implore you to take this seriously and help people like Joe Murphy and myself and the deans and the provost make this a reality. So in a similar vein on new monies, I want to talk a little bit about private fundraising. You heard me mention the Jeff and Deb Hansen Center, how that was funded essentially with all private monies. Last year, our foundation worked closely with us, and we raised over $119 million, which is an institutional best for a non-campaign year. And with the help they provide us, we couldn't be the same university without the help they provide us on a regular basis. And the students could not afford their education nearly as well if it wasn't for our foundation. We pledged to raise $150 million in my first 5 years here on campus in an initiative we call Moving Students Forward. We've are about 2 years into it because I announced it at my installation in September of 2012, I believe that was. Time goes fast. And we've raised nearly $95 million of that $150 million pledge in 2 years. So we're well on our way, and this is just one reflection of how critical the foundation is for the whole university and for our students. Soon we're going to embark on a new full capital campaign for this university. The foundation's working hard on it. Roger Newhouse has done a great job of laying out a strategy for this. Thank you, Roger. And we're really, really excited about that campaign going forward because it can fundamentally change this university. And it's not just about receiving money to support university operations. We want to make sure we're good stewards of our money, that we get the most bang for our buck, and we're operating the university as efficiently as possible. I'm proud that Iowa State has been nationally recognized as one of the most efficiently run universities in the country, something we want to continue. And while other states have been raising tuition and cutting programs, Iowa State University has been freezing tuition and adding full-time faculty. But we can do more. And right now we're in the middle of a comprehensive review of our academic and administrative operations to find ways to maximize resources and contain our costs. The Board of Regents commissioned this review and hired Deloitte Consulting. And they have a team that's been on campus to look at our operations. Phase one of this comprehensive review has now been completed. And it involved visits from Deloitte, but more importantly, it involved hundreds of interviews and a exhaustive collection of suggestions from people on this campus. We're in phase two right now, and the Deloitte team has narrowed their focus to a number of areas for further analysis, including opportunities for better classroom utilization, new scheduling policies, lowering purchasing costs, mainly through large-scale procurement contracts, and a few other initiatives. I'm really looking forward to becoming more efficient and a more effective steward of our monies. And I want to reemphasize that any savings we find, any changes we decide to make as a result of this study, those funds stay on this campus and we can reinvest them in any way we see fit. So this is a really, really good program. As we look at all aspects of this university, from our emphasis on academics, research, and economic development, to our excellent student experience, our commitment to diversity, all of these things have been instrumental in helping raise the university's national profile, our global profile. They're taking Iowa State University to the next level. We're getting more accolades than we've ever had. And I don't want to see all this hard work and effort go to waste, and I don't want to see our reputation irreparably damaged. So what I'm leading into is a brief discussion of VISA. This is really one of the reasons I made the decision last month to end VISA. It's a difficult and disappointing decision. I didn't want to see a 92-year-old tradition come to an end. But as president, ensuring student safety is probably my most important responsibility. And I didn't do this without any input. We had tremendous input with tremendous perspective from previous disturbances to recent times. As I discussed my announcement last month and over the years, events surrounding VISA continue to threaten student safety and harm our reputation. I looked at the publicity we got that we wished we could have bought, John McCarroll wished we could have bought on the national news as a result of VISA, and it wasn't good publicity. But more importantly, it was a serious student behavior and safety issue. Last spring alone, more than 200 people were arrested in a shortened VISA week, and 250 citations or charges were filed. And one student was very seriously injured. We can't continue to allow this to happen and consider ourselves to be a great university. I want you to know I took the public comments very, very seriously. I took the comments from the campus very seriously. And what I found is the vast majority of Iowa Staters and loyal supporters felt like me, that ending VISA was the right and necessary decision, although a sad and disappointing one. I still believe we can find ways, though, to publicly showcase what our great students and our great programs are here at Iowa State. I'm looking forward to working with students and faculty to find ways to bring the best parts of the university forward and highlight them and showcase them. And I think we can do that. I think we can have a lot of fun doing that. So as I conclude my remarks, I want to conclude on this upbeat nature I started with. I want to reiterate our mission moving forward. Iowa State University is doing many, many great things, many exciting things in academics, research, athletics, outreach, you name it. The progress has been tremendous. The enthusiasm is tremendous. When I speak to individuals around the state, they tell me they've never seen so much excitement, enthusiasm for Iowa State. Some of that's due to what's happening right here. Some of that's due to our great athletics program and the success on the court and on the field and the way we win in a Cyclone way. So it is a great time to be a Cyclone. In fact, Washington Monthly even published an article back in February titled, "Why Iowa State Might Be the Best College in America." Really. And that was fun to read. I got that article sent to me by people all over the country, alums, friends, and people that had no affiliation with Iowa State, but were just pleased to read that article. And I truly believe we are the best, but we don't want to rest on our laurels. We want to constantly look for ways to raise the bar, achieve more, and take this university to the next level. It's going to take a concerted effort from all of us. Everybody has to be into this game, and I think we are. This is a dedicated group of faculty, staff, and students. I'm proud of the work you've already done. I'm proud to be president of this university, and I promise you I'll work hard to keep moving this university forward. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for being here, and if there's questions, I'll be glad to try and field them. Thank you very much. Thank you, folks. And there are still breakfast snacks, which look delightful this morning, thanks to our chef from the Knoll, and especially thanks to University Dining for doing a tremendous job again. But are there questions for me? If there's not, we can have coffee, but. Yes, sir. One second. There you go.
Better. I have a quick question regarding infrastructure, I guess.
Yes.
Last week, there was a vote that went up for the bike share bill. I was just curious, a lot of people raised concerns about biking infrastructure, specifically bike lanes and stuff on campus. I don't know, what is being done to expand that kind of infrastructure?
That can be handled in a number of ways, but the question for those of you that didn't hear it had to do with how can we expand our infrastructure related to the bike sharing program as well as bike lanes on campus. I think that was the gist of it. There's a few things. I've talked to Hillary some about this, and we're trying to move forward. As a matter of fact, Hillary's working with Dave Miller to get more bike racks on campus. We're conscious of the issues. We're also conscious of the traffic issues and bike safety. So Warren Madden, and I'm sure Warren's here somewhere, but there he is. Warren is looking at a comprehensive plan for traffic on campus that, and I don't want to have people over speculating, but it includes everything from changing traffic flow to maybe even closing some roads. So we're not quite there yet, but I would say it's fair to say that Mr. Madden and his whole team are looking at traffic, infrastructure, congestion on campus. As far as the bike share program, I put a lot of faith and give a lot of responsibility to student leadership on campus. Hillary briefed me on the current status of the bike share program on campus. It was one of hers and Spencer's ideas, and they're being thoughtful about it. I'll continue to engage Hillary and follow her lead on this, but I think we'll come up with a solution for you fairly soon. Other questions? All right, might be coffee time. Anything else? All right, well, thank you very much for coming, and please join us for a little while.